are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. Hello there, my joining audience. We are live on the Facebook with the candidate for judge. Amen. Come on. In District Court 3. Amen.
North Las Vegas.
North Las Vegas.
Justice Court.
Justice Court.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? That's what's getting ready to happen. Did y'all hear that? That's what's getting ready to happen. And we are so happy to have her here with us. Okay? Y'all got to please share. Okay? Give us some hearts out there. And go get your brothers and your cousins, come on, your husbands. I hope that they are on here today joining us live, because we're going to have a great conversation / interview. And this is a perfect time to be talking to.
Yes, it is.
Is this a perfect time?
It is a perfect time.
With everything that's going on, because y'all know she bold. Come on now. Tough. Yeah, she is. That's her. I'm telling you, she is. I had to pull up her bio. I know she don't really care about that, but I do, because again, I wanted to read a little something on her, so you guys can be acquainted if you have not gone to the website and looked up Belinda T. Harris. You may want to do that because it's so powerful of what God is getting ready to do to put her in the seat. We are naming it. We are claiming it. It's your, that's that song by the Clark sisters. Name it, claim it. It's yours. And so we're going to get started here. Thank you so very much for coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me and putting this together, First Lady. When you first called, I was like, what would we talk about? And I had no idea that we would have so much to talk about.
So much.
So I thank you for putting this together and giving me the opportunity to have my voice heard with a woman of your caliber. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
You are welcome. You look so beautiful today.
Thank you. So do you. So do you.
Birds of a feather flock together. And so, thank you for accepting my invitation. Tell us a little about yourself and what makes you qualified for this position.
My name is Belinda T. Harris, BTH, Bold, Tough, and Honest, and I am your candidate for North Las Vegas Justice Court, Department number 3. I am born and raised here in the Valley, particularly in North Las Vegas. I am a product of Clark County School District Public Schools. And I currently am a Chief Deputy Public Defender here in Clark County. I have only ever been a public defender. I practiced about 4 or 5 years in Philadelphia, and then I came home in 2011, moved back to the same neighborhood I grew up in, and I'm still a public defender. I went to Howard University for my undergrad. I went to American University for my law degree. And so I lived in D.C. for a long time. Shout out to D.C. because that black woman over there is not playing.
Yes.
She is definitely bold, tough, and honest.
Yes, she is. My pastor said, and Patty, Pastor E. Dewey Smith, follow him. But he said he liked it. Every once in a while there's a little pettiness, but it's so professionally done.
Yes,
Isn't
it was. So that and been here practicing law and on the front lines, and decided that with our intro song, it's been a long time coming.
Yes. And
change is going to happen.
Yes.
And I have to be the change that I want to see.
Yes.
So there are, here in Clark County, there are a lot of women on the ballot.
Woo.
A lot of women of color.
Yes.
Which has never happened here before.
Yeah.
And also a lot of public defenders, which has also never happened before. Because public defenders, because of the nature of the work that we do and the level and the capacity in which we do it, a lot of times we don't seek out elected offices.
No.
A lot of times we don't, but we have decided that we will seek office, yes. And prosecutors, the other side, they always brag that they have been prosecuting and they're tough on crime and they're endorsed by law enforcement. And those are the slates that they run on. And I'm proud to run on. I'm a public defender and I'm bringing a different perspective to the bench. Not only am I bringing a perspective as being a black woman, also a public defender, also running in the neighborhood that I grew up in. So I am bringing to the bench what I got this from Karen Bennett Herron, KBH the Great. I'll just give her that shout out.
Yes, right.
Cultural competency to the bench and balance, because a lot of times when you go into court, the people who are coming before the court look like me, majority of them.
Exactly.
They're black or they're brown. They come before me, and the court does not reflect that. The court is not representation of the community in which it serves, especially especially here in North Las Vegas. The court is definitely not, does not have a representative of the community in which it serves, which goes back to the cultural competency, because how can you administer justice or fairness or integrity if you have no idea what the person before you is going through, the challenges and the issues that they face? And so it's a lot of education to be had, and that's what makes me qualified, professionally and personally, both levels. So that's what makes me qualified to seek this seat.
I love it. I read all of that, and she can just, I mean, this is so wonderful. This is so absolutely wonderful, because a lot of times, because of the time that we're living in and what's actually going on in the world today, in our community and in other communities and states, people are afraid when they are in the political limelight to even address or make any type of comment about what's going on. And so that's what makes this a great conversation today with Belinda T. Harris. What inspired you to run for judge?
Well,
what was your inspiration?
My inspiration comes from the work that I do. The work that I do, it's very hard and it's very challenging. And a lot of times, and I've done a post about it, a lot of times I'm in court and I just know that something is just not right. Right? And I'll just get a little deep. You know, I'm a black woman.
Right.
So, and I'm a defense attorney. So what I do is I represent and help people on a daily basis. And I also say that I am upholding the Constitution.
Right.
Well, the Constitution said that black people were 3/5 of a person. So we were viewed as property. When this document was drafted, we were viewed as property with no rights. Not even, I mean, 3/5 of a person, not even a whole person we were calculated as. I'm also a woman. And we know all about the suffrage movement.
Yes.
So women were also deemed property of their man, right? And they could not gain employment. They could not vote. So here I am as a black woman saying, not only am I a person, not only am I a being, but hey, I'm a woman, and guess what? Vote for me.
That's powerful.
So the inspiration has always been there.
Yes.
But like I said, going back, just being in court and complaining a lot, you know, and I was complacent. I can admit that. I was like, oh, we can't do this, and this person's not doing that, and we should do this, and it's like, but what are you doing
to change just even a smidget of it?
What are you doing?
Wow.
So, you know, you have to look at the man in the mirror.
Y'all know we talk about that, right?
So, you know, it's like, okay, you can either sit around and complain about it, or you can do something
about it.
And so this is my something. This is my something, because as a public defender, I am working from the bottom up.
Right.
And we make some changes. We make some changes, but now it's time to work from the top down.
Right.
And that's why I'm seeking the seat.
Ooh, I just love it that you guys know my hashtag, Rise of the Woman. Huh? And it is. Not to slight men in any kind of way, but God gave me a vision about that, and it is. And you will find more women coming into power in this season than ever before. Black women, especially black women, we are coming into power in every area, in every sector, business, ministry, in families and homes, because we've been in the lead anyway, because we've been, some of us have been single mothers. So the thing is, women are coming into being women of power, and women of color is coming into that place. That's why it's important for us to be in the know, to be connected to the right people, so that we can have our voices heard with the influence that's on us, because who we are and our character will precede us and where we're headed to take people.
All right, First Lady.
You had to get that in there. Rise of the Woman. Hashtag. So when y'all see my shirt, just get you some shirts. Rise of the Woman. I put Belinda Harris' name on that too. During the process of running for judge, how have you become more acquainted with the community? Because I know you're in the courtroom there, and you see all the things that's not correct toward people of color and brown skin, black people, and you see the injustices that's done on a daily basis. And you say, how can I fight this fight? And sometimes I can just say this, it becomes discouraging, because I've been in that courtroom with some family and friends and go, this is just so unfair, because they don't even have a chance or an opportunity, because it's a wrap. Right when they walk in, they see your face, it's a wrap on you. And so now you've been in there, now you've come out into the community being a candidate. Tell us a little bit about how you become more acquainted with the community as well.
Well, one thing, First Lady, is I got on social media.
Yes.
Before I was running for judge, I was not on.
No, I tried to find you was there. You accept me as a friend, but
I just never was on
Yeah.
social media
Yeah.
because I was basically kind of living in my own world.
Right.
So that is, I think that, social media has its positives and its negatives, but
Right.
that has gotten me connected to the community in a different way, because I see that a lot of people use social media as a platform or an outlet. So that has let me get into the community in a different capacity. Also, I'm a boots on the ground type girl.
That's right. Boots to the street.
I'm a sneakerhead. It's not a secret. And I put my sneaks on, and I like to get down and, boots on the
That's
ground.
right.
That's what I do.
That's right.
I like to do the work.
Yes.
And so in doing the work, I have just met so many new people, so many awesome people, and really have been able to engage in the community in that sense, because the community, people always say, people don't want to vote, or they're apathetic, or they're empathetic. I don't see, people are ready.
And passionate. But you don't know people's passion until you get amongst them.
Exactly.
And really feel and hear their heart of why they're passionate about the different things and their view. You can't just put everything in one blanketed form.
Correct.
Because then it's incorrect, because you have to see what drives, because passion drives people.
Correct.
Into different areas, but at the end of the day, it'll drive them in the right direction. If you hear their heart and you can take that and put it on your platform, and you can be the forerunner to run it in for them.
Correct.
Because that's what you're going to do.
Correct.
You're the one that can run it in, because you get the complaints and the grief and just whatever concerns these people out in the community, to take it and put their concerns forth as you go out and be the candidate to win.
Correct. So, and I've been just engaging, you make sure you attend events, accept people's invitations, and it does. It gets hard, it gets discouraging,
Right.
because you work all day, and then you have to go out at night, or accept, and you get tired. It's hard work.
Yes,
it's not
it is.
easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy
I
at
put
all.
boots to the street.
Yes,
many times.
Yes,
it's hard.
it's hard work.
Yeah.
But you engage with the community, and for me,
Yeah.
the love that I've just been receiving from the community on all aspects has just been tremendous, and it's really energized me.
Yeah.
It's really energized me. Like, I wake up, like this morning, we had a long late night last night, and I woke up this morning like, yes, let's go. Feeling it. So, you get more involved in that sense, and making the connections, because you have to put yourself out there.
Yes.
You have to do work. Like, I hear people say a lot of times, we don't know the judges, or we didn't know this, or we don't know that. And I realize it's because they're not putting themselves out there.
No person, they're not becoming personable.
Right.
And people like that. When
Right.
you are touchable as a leader, people like that.
Exactly.
They want to know, can you be touchable, reachable, pliable, and take on their passion.
And one thing about North Las Vegas, all of the electeds over here are very, you can touch them.
That's
You can
great.
call them, you can touch
Yes.
them. They are really out in the community. So
Yes.
that's also something that has been very helpful. Commissioner Weekly,
Yeah.
even though he's on
We
his
love you.
we definitely love him.
Woo!
We love you, Commissioner.
Commissioner.
But he's out in the community,
Yes.
and so I had to step up my game, because he's my commissioner too.
Yes.
So, and make sure that when he's doing events and things of that nature, that I go out and participate and support him.
Yes.
Because he is engaged in the community,
Yes, he
and
is.
brings a different perspective. So that's just one example of one leader we have over here who is actually, engaged. Very active.
Very active. I love it.
Me too. So that, those things are how you get more engaged in the community,
Yes.
especially when you are saying because you want the community. I can't win the election myself.
No.
I know for sure I got 3 votes. Me, my mama, and my daddy.
Right.
I know for sure I got them 3 votes, right?
Right.
But everybody else,
You have the game.
I have to gain.
You have to
and
gain.
so I've always said this is our campaign. I
Right.
am your candidate.
That's
I'm
right.
your candidate, First
Yes.
Lady. You
Yes.
live in North Las Vegas.
Yes.
You have to help me.
Right.
You do have to push me along.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I can't do this by myself.
Exactly.
It really is something
It's a team effort.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
So, that's why people say the voting your voice doesn't matter. This is why we don't vote. Well, you know, then I don't want to hear when you go into court how the judge you felt like was unfair or didn't listen to you, or you know, it's just another white man or something of that nature if you don't exercise it. Because this literally is, you know, I only have a certain amount of money, and I only, like I said, and I know for sure I got 3 votes. Other than that, it's the truth.
Right.
Like, I know mama and daddy don't vote for me. I know that for a fact. And I'm gonna vote for myself.
Right.
But other than that, I have to be able to, you know, gain the community, and that's why I'm really putting myself out there too, because I want them to know exactly who I am, what I stand for, what I believe in, and it will be no secret. They will know exactly who I am.
That's great.
And I think it's incumbent upon all elected officials, right?
Yes,
because they ask you to vote for them and give them money and things like that. So I think that in doing that, you need to engage with the community.
Yes.
You know, it's incumbent upon you. As I've always said, to whom much is given,
much is required.
And expected.
That's right. When you're a leader on the front line, it is just expected, whether you like it or not. And this is so powerful. I just thought about when I worked for the city of Las Vegas in planning and zoning, and I've always been very interested in campaigning before we started the ministry way back. I think it was about 1981, 82. I campaigned with Morris Arbery. And I came up with, let's have some t-shirts. I went and got those printed and had, you know, I've always been a rally, always been a person that gathered people together and unify and market and make it a team. Because anytime you're going to lead, you have to have the right followers that believe in your vision, that believe in your passion, that will drive them to drive you, to push you. And that's way back in the 80s. I'm like, wow, it just came up in my mind. And so this is a time and season that God is raising up women, powerful women as yourself, to get a job done, that will have the voice to be heard and not be afraid to use it and articulate yourself well and over to the people, no matter what status they are, you're able to touch them and comprehend and understand and be there for them and not make yourself seem separated. You know, give me your vote, but you know, that's it. I see you on the bench. Right. And that's it. And never engage with them. And that's important for people to feel that way in this season when everything is such an uproar and unsettled, seem like it, you know, unrest and unsettled. It is an unfamiliar time. It's a difficult time.
But it's good.
But it's a great time.
Right, like things that have happened the last few events, and I'll say this, I had breast cancer, and I'll just use that as an example. Okay. Cancer sucks.
Yes, it does.
And it was rough, and it was hard. Yeah. But I appreciate the opportunity. Yes. I don't need to have it again, guys.
Right. Because that's what it was. It was an opportunity for you to understand. This right here, that prepared you for the endurance. Exactly. There has to be an endurance on the inside first. Exactly. To give you that push on the outside. And the motivation. Exactly. So while that was terrible, and how there have been some things that have not been good, it just hasn't been good. 2020, I mean, they say it's clear vision, but woo, it just has not. It's not been right. But at the same time, you can see the silver lining in the gray cloud, and people can see, because we've been doing this work for a long time. Long time. You know, as I told you earlier, I've been really reading and studying more, and I was just listening to Marvin Gaye, right, with the Inner City. Right. And he was talking about this same thing, right? That's your generation. Y'all was bumping that. Yeah. Marvin Gaye. My generation, we was bumping NWA. Right. That's the police. Right. They were saying the same thing with a little bit of different language. Right. But they were saying the exact same thing. The message was still the same. The delivery was maybe different, but the message was exactly still the same. Right. So this is where we've been. And you know, I'm happy that we are all raising our voices, coming together. Yes. And people are saying, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. We will not stand for it. Exactly. People have different ways and outlets to project their voice. Exactly. And I didn't do a lot of, I was just on a lot of people's social media, watching what they were doing and saying like to this and that, and, you know, making my decision. But I said, I'm going to wait until I have Belinda T. Harris, the candidate, on so they can hear my voice physically
Right.
about it. Just it's not right.
Right.
And sometimes people do things wrong to try to get a right response.
Right.
And we understand that. But if you're not in our world as black people, you will never get that. And we've talked about this a little bit over there. I'm big on culture. I'm big on culture. When you know the culture of people's lives, you can know the root of where they came from, why they act, why they act the way they do, why they do what they do, and then you can go in there and separate and try to guide them in a better way when you understand their culture.
Right.
But when you don't understand their culture and you choose to be blind to it, or just, sometimes it doesn't touch our homes. COVID didn't touch some people's homes, so they don't have a passion or a compassionate for people. Well, they need to just be careful. But I believe this, that when we go through hardships like you've done in your life, and I've been through many, many hardships, we become compassionate about a lot of stuff. Even if it hasn't touched us, we still become compassionate about it.
Right.
And so now's the time for leaders, if they would, have a little something to say about right or wrong and make a difference, because we are people of influence, especially in the church. We really are. We are people of influence, and we need to use our influence not only in the four walls, but outside in the community. And we base Shekinah Glory Ministry, we base that, we have that in our ministry. That's a foundation. That's one of the things that we cry about, that we talk about, and that we give to. Voices and money, whatever we can do to help the community be pressed forward.
Yes.
So
and our leaders have been speaking up,
Yes, they have.
Governor Simpson,
yes.
our Attorney General,
yes.
Mr. Ford,
yes.
some Assemblywoman, Danielle Monroe Moreno.
Yes.
They did a press conference.
Yes.
And they were very vocal.
Yes.
And they were very bold, tough, and honest.
Right.
Hashtag BTH.
Hashtag.
That word. And I think that goes back to what you said originally. A lot of times people rule or act in fear.
Right.
And that's why I said I'm bold, tough, and honest, because I will not act and rule in fear.
No.
I will be fair.
Right.
And sometimes when you are being fair, it's an unpopular opinion.
Exactly.
And the powers that be will come down on you, or try to make you change your stance.
Right. Right.
But I think that everyone's seeing nationwide. This isn't in Clark County. This isn't in North Las Vegas.
No.
This is nationwide.
Nationwide.
That people are seeing that the fear element is part of the reason why we've gotten here.
Right.
And you have to be fair and address that. And if you're fearful of something, just say it.
Right.
Just because then you could learn.
Yeah.
If you don't know something, then you can learn.
Exactly.
And so I think that is something that's also big. You have to bring fairness and integrity.
Right.
And so our leaders have been speaking up. And
Yes,
it
they
makes
have.
I've always been proud to be a Nevadan.
Me too.
But, that just really was like, yes.
Yes. Yes, we've been proud of Sisolak since he came out with the COVID and all the steps that he's taken with the community. Has been absolutely wonderful. And he didn't care about people talking about him, because as a leader, again, you have to be willing to be critiqued, judged, criticized, and all those things. You have to have tough skin.
Yes, you
And
do.
that's what I'm getting to.
Woo.
You have to have tough skin, because I'm blatantly honest, but I've learned to be tempered these last 20 years, because I have to be a pastor. I've learned to be tempered. So
I don't know, First Lady. You still keep it pretty real.
Yeah, I keep it real. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say what I mean and mean what I say. Right, wrong, and different. And if I'm wrong, then I will apologize and repent. Whichever one. But there's no pretensions in me. You don't have to worry about what does she mean, because I will say ABC and give you details of what I meant.
Exactly.
And
definitely do.
And before, but I tell people for the last while I was preaching out before we became pastors for 21 years with my team. I was very direct, very honest. It was imperative to me. You have to be very direct and very honest with people. And sometimes people take that. People will say, well, I like honesty, but really people don't like the truth. And so when you stand for the truth and have a standard about yourself, it will offend people. And that's okay, because when you go home at night, you can understand that you have walked in the truth.
Right.
You've been a woman of integrity, and you've spoken your piece, and you did what you're called to do.
Yes.
And people will follow you, especially when they see your character exemplifies and meets up with that criteria. They will follow you. You do. You're welcome. You have great.
But I'm a
integrity.
follower myself.
Yeah.
Because you know, when you are a leader, you have to be willing to follow.
Right.
You have to get out there and do the work as well.
Right.
You know, you have to be, like I said, boots on the ground with people.
Yes.
You know, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I feel like I have
You have to do. You have to do it.
Yes, and that's what it is. You have to be able to follow. You know, I have people who call me because I don't know everything.
Right. Me either.
I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I definitely don't know everything.
Yeah.
And so some things that I don't know,
right,
or even some things I think I do know,
right,
you have to sit back and you know, you have to listen to people. And I don't have what they call yes men on my team. I don't have any yes men on my team.
That's wonderful.
I just don't. They're all bold tough and they don't play around.
Right.
Which I'm blessed and fortunate to have because that's how you do get the balance.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, okay, you're doing good, but
you need to step it up.
Yeah, step it up, or this is not working, or
that's great.
You know, so I appreciate that. But that's something that, you know, is near and dear to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to have that when you are leading. You also have to be a follower.
You have to be, because you don't know everything. My daughter says we don't know nothing about nothing. And you have to be apt to learn, apt to teach. You have to be. It's okay. We circle a team around us, and they know I'm big on it. I go, what? I may know this part, and I may not even know the whole part, but there's always a better way of doing something to make the team better, to make you better.
Yes.
And I love that because, again, that's what people want to see. That's what they want to connect to.
Yes.
When they can feel that from you, I'm telling you, they will follow you anywhere. They really will.
And I follow the people anywhere.
Me too. Where you at?
Yes.
I love people. I love people. I do.
Yes.
I love people.
Yes.
I really do. I love people. And I love the different things I see in people and what they say.
Yes.
And how they demonstrate.
And their perspectives.
Yeah,
and their education.
Yes.
And their experiences.
Yes.
Because that's what makes us better people.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Me too.
So,
I love it.
you know, and so
I
appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's something, a new dish.
Yes.
You know, it's like, okay, we're going to eat this. I've never eaten that before. You know, or a new store, a new sale, and just anything.
Anything.
It's knowledge, and we know that knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, and you will be the better for it. And so, I want to go to this question.
Okay.
And because you already dealt with my next question about bringing something different and enhancing the community and the fairness in the justice system, because we have to have it. But in the wake of everything that's going on as leading the community, what would you like to communicate to the people? In the wake of everything that's going on and the protests and people, you know, with people breaking windows and burning cars, and we know it's been a lot of agitators really out there looting and doing all that kind of stuff, and then they try to blame us, but they're getting caught. What would you say? Because sometimes people will raise their voices in tyranny because they need to, they must. To get the, you know, because sometimes people don't get their attention. Where I'm the kind of person, I can do both, but the point is, we're dealing with a system here that's been set forth to keep people confined and to keep and maintain unfairness and project that it's fair. Like,
hey, I know what's going on. I know what you're going through. I love you. You got the, you know. Everybody can play their part, but you have to be proactive and not reactive. See, right now, we're being both. We're being proactive and reactive. And it's working.
It's working.
It's working.
It is.
You know, because I always, you know, when you apply pressure, you know.
Gotta apply pressure sometimes.
And pressure busts pipes.
Yes.
And pipes are strong.
Woo!
So that's what I would say to people. I would just say, you know, everything that you're doing matters.
Yes.
You can do whatever you can do. Please don't feel like you're not doing enough or you should be doing something else. Everybody's doing what they can do.
That's right.
And I would just go back to the voting.
Right.
Now, my name is going to be on the ballot in the general
election. Talk about it.
November 3rd, 2020.
Yes.
So the presidential race will be the first name on your ballot. Our ballot this year in Clark County will be a small children's book.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's going to be extremely thick with a lot of names, a lot of information.
Right.
What I would tell the people is we have this energy and this momentum. Don't get tired. Because that ballot will be a small children's book.
Right.
And you will, so the presidential race is going to be the first name on the ballot.
Right.
and my race, and my name is going to be the last race and name on the ballot.
Okay, the last race and name on the ballot.
So,
okay.
They say that, the good book, that the last
say it shall
be
first. We're coming back from the back to the front.
So,
yes.
in saying that, I'm saying, you have to do not get tired. You have to go down that whole ballot because federal elections do matter. They are very important. But your local elections are what impact you on a daily. So, like, for instance, yesterday our leaders did a press conference. It wasn't the presidential. It was our governor, our attorney general, our assemblywomen and men. So I just want people to not get tired in voting because, like I said, that ballot will be a small children's book. And there's a lot of information out there, and it's hard because if you're doing an independent research and you're trying to research people and see if you think that would be a good candidate, and then you have to discuss it with someone and ask their opinion. But just don't get tired. Don't get tired. I know that it's hard. It can be discouraging. It can be hard and definitely overwhelming all the time. Sometimes all the time. But you have to stay at it. You have to mark the ballot. And my shameless plug is start from the bottom. Mark me first and work your way up. Because that's what we'll be doing. I'm at the bottom, but I'm going to the top.
And work your way up. Work your way up.
So
that's really good. I'm glad you brought that out so people can look and see.
Just make sure because it's going to be a lot of names on this general election ballot.
And that's why it's so important that you do have boots on the street because people want to see, they want to know you because some people are not going to read, some people are not going to research, really not too many. Pastor Nick will do the research, he'll say, and read everything and he'll break it down to me because I'll read what I read, do what I do, and he'll do that because it's second nature to him. But most people is not going to be thorough like that. So seeing you physically or seeing you on the social sites and other people that know you by word of mouth, that's how things get out.
Correct.
That's why the boots on the street is so important to be personable with people because a lot of times it's word of mouth. I hope you guys are sharing out there. I just have to say that. Share. This is a very good conversation with candidate for judge, okay? Belinda T. Harris. You gotta share that. Please share that. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. That people need to know, not to react, but to be proactive. But we got people are doing both.
Yes, I mean, because right now what's happening is we're being reactive, right?
Reactive, yeah.
Because I think that people are just really fed up.
They really are.
Because there have been things that have been happening now. Like I said, we can go back from Marvin Gaye was singing about it, NWA was, and that's years and years ago, and people are fed up, so we're being reactive. But at the same time, we're being proactive. Because in the reaction, we're saying, okay, now we have to be proactive so this does not continue to happen. If you really want to have the conversation, now we have to be proactive. And you have to know what the people want. And you have to speak to them. But if you're not on the ground, you don't know that. And that's even for me, throughout this whole process, it's made me a better person because I've learned a lot. Because I've been able to engage with some people who this is directly affecting and impacting and seeing, their solutions and informations and mobilizing and organizing. So with that being said, I just, we're doing both. But we have to keep it going. We have to continue to be proactive and not reactive.
That is so powerful. Because I grew up over there on Doolittle and Jay. I did. Right out of the projects there, right out of them. Right out of them. And I care about them. I care about our community and about what's happening, what's going on, because I don't care how far we move away or do whatever we do and get in the corporate arena and do whatever we do, we still have to stay connected to our roots and where we came from. That's true. Because if you don't, you become insensitive.
True, and then
I decided on
there by the grace of God, there go I.
That's the key. So
don't get too uppity.
Right, because if you get too big for your britches, y'all know I talk about that too.
Yeah,
I said this is a great. The old folks say don't get too big for your britches. And God said, then put this revelation on it, because he'll give you some smaller ones.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You'll get some smaller ones.
Exactly.
How about that?
And that's why I said I'm grateful that people in my
Right.
immediate circle
Right.
are not yes men and
No,
women.
no.
They are not.
They'll say, excuse me, I have the same people around me. Pastor, no, you may not want to. I said, what
Yes.
you say?
Right.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to change that around.
Right. So,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem too. I
Yeah.
think that sometimes there is a true disconnect.
Yeah.
But I think that, and we see it. So I'm running an election, right?
Mhm.
Like I said, I only have so much money, and I
Right.
know for sure I got 3 votes.
Right.
We run against people who come from these power structures.
Right.
And they feel like they can just blow you out of the water
That's
because they
right.
have all this money.
Right.
And they can do this or they
That.
can do that.
Come on.
But
I love it.
it's people who vote.
Right.
It's not money.
That's right.
It's people who vote.
That's right.
And to get the votes, you have to be with the people.
You do.
And so there are people who have the money, but you have to be with the people, because
Right.
that's who goes and casts the votes.
Right.
Not the $1 bills.
No,
They
see,
don't-
that used to work. I came from a job of wealth and power and status that used to work. People, let me tell you something. Right now, money is just currency. People don't care about money right now. They really don't. They don't care about your status. They care about your heart, and that you love them, you care about them, you're concerned about them, and you're going to meet their need. And they always cared about it, but we some kind of way covered it up with status and power and money and all that stuff. Well, now let your power, your status, and your money work for you to help the average person
Exactly.
get somewhere to benefit your community,
Exactly.
your state,
Exactly.
your home,
Yes.
your life,
Yes.
your children's lives.
Yes.
And that's why this is a great time to be a candidate, because of that. People are upsetting. I went. They had that. Who was the down in? I think it was New Orleans. It was in. Who was that? I'm trying to figure her name. It was 100 women that met and took a picture. We took a picture and we posted because another candidate won over another candidate that wasn't projected, and they won. And it was a black person that won. And let me tell you something. People can get laxed and think, well, I got it in the bag. No, there's been a shift and a sift in the natural and the spiritual realm. And if we just go along and think, well, that's just going to happen. No, and no. There's going to be a change that has come in this community, in this nation. There's the shifting of flipping over of the guards, all of that. God is taking down the book of Daniel. He take down some and put some up. That's what's going on in this season. And so we got to look at who's compassionate, who's kind, who's going to get the job done. People don't care about what people put on the paper of what they can do. They want to see, which is the volume of your voice, what you can do. And that's what's so important.
And what you will do.
What you will do. They believe what you will do.
Right.
And you're saying what you will do, and you're putting the boots on the street, and people can certainly appreciate that as a candidate. You're being forthcoming.
Yes.
They're looking at that. They're reading that. They're hearing that.
Thank you,
You're welcome, because you're being forthcoming, and we appreciate that. And so, here's a perfect one. What do you want to say to the community if they want to voice? If they want their voices heard and changes made? I think you talked a little bit about it. But what can they do? What's the alternate alternative? What can they do?
I would say make sure that you are registered to vote.
That's it. That's key.
And tell 10 of your friends. Tell them to tell 10 of their friends. And tell them to tell 10 of their friends.
Word of
And
mouth.
tell them to tell 10 of their friends. And I always say, you're on social media. We are all addicted and glued to our phones.
Right.
Our iPads.
Right.
Our computers. Work it. Use it for the good.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to share.
Right.
It doesn't hurt to
Sure.
like.
Right.
None of that hurts.
Right.
It's all very helpful, because that
Yeah.
is the movement that we're about.
Yeah.
So you can do all the things that you're already doing.
Right.
You can continue to do that. And
Yeah.
I think that definitely will make a change.
Yeah.
I definitely do think it'll make a change.
Yeah, because a change is coming.
I believe so.
I can tell you that a change is coming with everything that's going on in the world. You know, you look down, so they did open up the strip. We saw that, and people are flooding in there without a mask. And that's why we're at this table like this, you know, because we still want to practice social distancing. We still want to be safe, because when all this is over, we don't want to be ignorant to that the COVID is still out, still about. We still want to be safe, but it's not going to prohibit us doing what we need to do. And that is moving forward.
And we are moving forward. And I think it speaks volumes that in the midst of a pandemic, people are out there literally putting their lives on the line, because that's how serious it is.
2 times they put it on the line, with the policemen and with their health.
So that's how serious it is. And I think that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. And like I said, it's not just here in Clark County or Nevada. This is nationwide. You know, it's actually global.
Yeah, it is.
So I think that also speaks volumes to how the change is going to come, and how, you know, what's happening is a step in the right direction. It's uncomfortable, and some people don't like it. But I think that's, you know, I always tell people, Bloody Sunday wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago.
And in order for a change to come, there has to be some discomfort. In fact, most of the time it will be. Because we're so used to being in the familiarity, being familiar with what's going on, because humans like to control stuff. Well, everything is out of everyone's control. God made it that way. He let the whole world, He is dictating everything. With this COVID, you can't just go and do what you want to. You can if you want to, but there's going to be a consequence. Same thing with the uprising and what's going on.
For every action, there will always be a reaction. And I think we have to remember that. So, you know, for every action, there will be a reaction. You can't control the reaction.
No, and they can't control it.
So you can do an action, but you can't control how I'm going to react. Because what you might think is okay or good, I might think is not okay and not good. And so I think that's the discussions that we're having. Like, this is not okay. This is not good. Because for every action, there's a reaction, and you can't control that.
No, you can't. And people are uncomfortable. They are uncomfortable. We're like, okay, we're uncomfortable, but it's making us move.
Well, like I said, I can admit that I, you know, was complacent. And my whole candidacy and my whole campaign has just made me much better. I've learned so much. It's made me a better person. It's made me a better advocate. It's helped me personally and professionally. It's made me a better advocate, a better attorney, more understanding. Because like I said, the work that I do, it can bog you down. You can get tired. You cannot feel well. And then seeing that, you see that other people also are doing the same. You know, other people are also doing the same. So I think that those things are all good. I think for me personally, the experience and the opportunity, I feel like I've already won. Because I've just met so many great new people who I know I will be keeping relationships with, who have my back, who genuinely love me. And then I've lost some people during this campaign season, who you think, you know, and I've been getting prayed over and prayed to and prophesied to, that, you know, there were some people who I thought had my back and were in my corner, and really they weren't. I was talking about that. You was the last one. I told you. I was told that 2 times, and then you called me at 9 o'clock at night and broke it down for me. And it was just real. It gave me chills. Because when you keep hearing the same thing from different people who I know are not texting or on each other's social media, it's real. So, you know, I appreciate it. And it's been eye-opening. Like I said, I feel like I've already won between the love and, you know, and then because you have to grow. And sometimes you can't see everything when it's right in your face.
No, you can't. It has to, disruption has to happen. The discomfort has to happen. And then separation has to happen. Even with those that you thought loved you, that you loved, you thought, what happened? What are they doing? But you have to take that in. Examine it. Prioritize it. Set it over there. And keep them boots on the street.
That's
baby.
right.
Keep it moving, baby.
And that's
Soldiers
what
have to process quickly.
Correct.
And get it in order and move.
Correct.
No matter what.
Correct.
And keep it moving.
Correct.
And keep people in your corner that will move with you.
Correct.
Because adversity is a part of the team. It's a part of the move. It's going to happen. That's what's right. We're in the midst of all this adversity. But
Correct.
nothing stops. It's how you perceive it.
Correct.
And how you look at it.
Correct.
And who you have on your team as you lead, to follow, as you listen to them as well, to move forward.
Correct.
With a vengeance.
Correct.
You really have to.
Correct. And that's what's been happening.
Yeah.
And like I said, that makes me feel like I've already won.
Yes.
You know, because it's like, this has just been so eye-opening and so great. And like I said, it's made me better personally and professionally. And I'm so appreciative of that. I'm so appreciative of
And a
that.
spiritual woman.
Yes.
You guys see that? She's breaking down the legal system, the protocol, and the Bible.
Yes.
She's breaking down
Yes.
the book.
Yes.
The Bible.
That's right.
That's what I call the book.
The good book.
The good book. But you know what I love? When my children were in school, and I had adversity because, again, when you have black children in the school systems, let me tell you something. I had to, even though I was out working at the time, I had to fight for my children, for their education, because, again, even in the school district, sometimes there was racism going on with the children, because, you have both parents, and, they would do certain things, and before I'm a preacher, I'm a professional. So I go on in, and they go, oh, Lord, this is the wrong black lady, right? And God told me, he said, don't use your Bible, use their Bible. Now I'm going to break this down, I'm going to throw something out there. And their Bible is their protocol, procedures, and guidelines, which every time they will break their own rules that they set forth. So I tell them, get their binder out, I get my paper out that they sent me. Let's go to number 3 here. You violated that. And let me tell you something. We now, God has had me for the last 10 years praying down systems. Fighting and in the physical, not fighting like this, but using their Bible, the protocol, the guidelines, the procedures, systems, because again, systems is set up. A lot of times we just deal with the minister here, but there are systems that set up to cause cause black people brown people to be overthrown and to fail. And God gave me favor. I want to tell you this little story with Chris Garvey. The trustee Chris Garvey. I got to say that he really did. And I used to be involved in the PAC and having a good time and rallying the parents and all this kind of stuff, because you have to be involved. And you have to be. You can say one thing, but if you don't show up, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. And so with my last child, he ended up with the IEP. And so, and just learned slower than the other children, but very smart and very intelligent. And so when it was made aware to me, I said, what is going on? So I said, I had another lady that was in my life that was the assistant principal at the time. So she said, this is what you need to do. Follow these steps here. So I did it and got a meeting with all the IEP supervisors. And the lady that was fighting him was his classroom teacher. So she should have been aware of the behavior that a child falls underneath those, those guidelines.
Correct.
So we got together and I said, well, I want to get to the bottom line. What will it take to get him a diploma? Because we're not playing any games here. He's second grade. We got to put the boots on the street to get it done. And they said, well, you have to pass the proficiency test. I said, well, I barely passed that. There's nothing wrong with me. So you got this room with black and white people in it. I said, well, I'll tell you this. I'm going to pray that system down. And they all looked at me like, girl, lady, that's a system. You can't pray a system down. Let me tell you something. We fought through physically, mentally, strategically. You have to have a strategy and a plan. And guess what? Around Trustee Garvey contacted me. They had voted out the proficiency test 1.5 years before my son graduated. Off the table. So what did he get? A diploma. A diploma, so he can go on in his life and do bigger and better things. Because it was a system that was set up to overthrow us to fail. And God said, pray it down. Systems set up in high places. Let me tell you something. I did my homework, reading, studying. Come on, on putting the boots to the street to
Being-
bring down a system.
And that's what you were doing, First Lady. You were being reactive and proactive.
Yeah, I had
at
to.
the same
I
time.
had to. It was a
Had
few
to,
fires and
yes.
stuff that went on. But he got that diploma. And we have to have the same, and I feel the same way about our community, about our state, and about the world and the nation. We have to have that type of tenacity in order for us to make things turn around. These people are not just protesting just for God bless George Floyd. We give our condolences to his family, but they are now attacking the system.
Yeah, that's what
That's
I
been
said.
set up against them. It's the system, and it has to come down because sooner or later it will affect even Caucasian people.
Well, and I think that's
It's
the
going
thing.
to do it.
I think it is because everybody gets affected a different way, right?
That's what I'm trying to say.
While everybody gets affected a different way, and different people value things differently.
Right.
I personally value life over
Right.
property.
Right.
Personally,
Me
but
too.
some people value their property over life. So everybody gets affected a different way because we all think different and have different, different perspectives on things. So I think everybody's being affected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, in DC, the street is now painted.
Yes.
So everybody's being affected by that.
Everybody.
Some people in positive, some people
Right.
in a negative, but
Right.
it's affecting everyone,
Yes, yes.
So I just think that it is affecting everyone, and
Yeah.
I hope that lights are being shined
Right.
bright enough that people are seeing and want to have the dialogue now.
Yes.
Because I think before they didn't even want to have the
No.
dialogue or didn't feel like they had to have it.
Right. Right.
And so that's what's happening now, and that's just what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for the
Me
change.
too.
I'm
all
for
for
the
the change.
I'm all
Discomfort,
for the
I'll
change.
take it. The adversity, I'll take it. And I'm so glad you are really a light shining in darkness in this season.
Oh, thank you, First Lady.
You're welcome.
Thank
You really are.
Thank
You really, really are. God pressed upon me. He said you have to bring her voice in,
Thank you.
so we can hear. It's more than just the Bible and just in the church. We have to have the balance of the both so we can be effective outside the four walls, because it is definitely, if we don't speak up and have a voice, we're going to not have what we used to have, and it's going to be different going back into the setting. We know praising the Lord and all that kind of stuff. Things that we're setting up with our board and our beard, the ministers with the reverends, and how we're going to go back and what we need to do to make sure that people are saved, to make sure Pastor Nick and I are saved. All those things are in place now. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
yes, ma'am.
if we don't go, and those that can deal with the system, you're dealing with the system.
Yes, ma'am.
You're dealing with the system
Yes,
to
ma'am.
bring it into a place where we can all have a greater life, a quiet and a peaceable life. Because it's going to get quiet and peaceable again. But until then, we have to fight in the adversity.
Correct.
We have to speak up.
Correct.
We have to go and put some boots on the street.
Correct.
We have to do that. And
Correct.
we have to push candidates that do that.
Correct.
We have to. The people got to know who you are.
And that's First Lady. When I did a post, I went to the African American Museum
Yes.
in DC,
Woo!
and when I was there, it's so big. It's
Yes.
so big, and you need. Everybody was like, when you go, you need 3 or 4 days because it's just that much information.
Wow.
So I'm walking through, and I see this. It was small too. It was probably the size of this notebook I have. It's a sign that says Belinda on it.
Yes.
Now, I don't know many people named Belinda,
Right.
especially black women named Belinda. I just don't know many. I met a new person named Belinda not too long ago. I just don't know many. I think I know about 5 or 6.
Right.
And that includes my mama, Big Belinda. She was a slave who petitioned the court for her freedom. And when I seen it, when I went there, I'll just be real personable because this is what this is. When I went there, I was tired. I was in DC. I went in May, and I'm like, I got to figure out something else to do with my life because I just was feeling weary. Even though you're doing good, and they say do not get weary and doing good, I was feeling weary. I was feeling very tired, overwhelmed, just, like, ugh. And so I seen it, and it basically, she was, you can go on my Facebook page and look at it. It's there for anybody who wants to see it. Belinda T. Harris is on my Facebook. And it said, you know, it had very little. It had her original petition,
Right.
and then it said, you know, little was known about her personal life, but we know about her tenacity.
Yes.
And her, you know, what she wanted to do to have equal rights. And
Right.
in her petition, she detailed the horrors of slavery and was won before the court and got a pension. So very early on stages of type of reparations. And it said
Wow.
Belinda.
Wow.
And I was like, clearly I'm a descendant of a slave. And I say I'm a descendant of a slave named Belinda because she was advocating then and I'm advocating now.
Wow.
So it gave me chills. And sometimes when I think that I'm tired, I took a picture of it.
Yes.
So sometimes when I think I'm tired, I just look at that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And the drive and the tenacity.
And I tell people, I am not tired.
Right. I am not. And what you declare and decree out of this goes in the atmosphere and it becomes what it is.
Give me some energy because
Right.
I am not tired.
I'm not.
And
I
so
love it.
that, you know, every time I think of that, I just look at that.
Yes.
Because, you know, I don't know many people who have their name sake
Right.
in that museum
I know.
with the original petition.
Wow.
I don't know many people.
That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
It's spelled the same and
The
everything.
same way.
And my dad named me, so I called him. I'm like,
Right.
Daddy, did you know about it? He was like, absolutely not. You know, I'm like, look at this. I sent it to my parents, and it just like I said, and every time I think that I'm getting weary, I'm getting tired,
Yeah.
I look at that, and I just, you know, I can't even imagine what she went through
Right.
and the courage she had to have.
Wow.
I can't even imagine.
Can't even imagine. That's a lot of courage.
A
That's
lot.
a lot of courage.
And just
bondage.
because then, you know, I mean, it was legal to just kill you.
Right.
I mean, it
There
wasn't
was
even
no
gonna be
protest.
there. Wasn't even gonna be no protest, no rising. You just say, "Oh, we done with her."
Right.
You know what I
That's it.
mean?
Right.
It's over.
It's over.
Right. So
And then
I mean,
a woman at that.
and then a woman
Black
at that.
Powerful rise of the woman. I'm telling you, we have enjoyed you, Belinda T. Harris. You guys,
Thank
it's
you,
important.
First Lady.
You're welcome.
I
She
appreciate
is
it.
bold, tough, and honest. She is the candidate for judge in the North Las Vegas Justice Court, Department 3.
Yes.
You gotta vote.
Gotta
You
vote.
gotta vote.
Gotta
Don't.
vote.
We sent our ballots in the other day. Me and Pastor Nick. Yes, we
So
did.
remember, we're voting twice this year. This is a primary election, which you have up until June 9th.
Right.
And there were mail-in ballots.
Right.
But there are places to go. You will have to stand in the line. They're
Right.
taking precautions, but it'll probably be a line.
Right.
But it's worth it.
Right.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Because you're not voting for right now.
Right.
You are voting for the future. You know,
Come on, that's
I
good.
always say I have a little cousin named Messiah.
Yeah.
He's my cousin's son, so he's my little cousin.
Yeah.
And every time I think of him, this is why we're doing it. He's like
Right.
5, 6 years old. Like, we're doing this for him.
Right.
So hopefully he doesn't go through this.
Yes.
You know what
Yes.
I mean? We're voting for the future.
For the future.
We're not voting for right now.
No.
We're voting for later.
For later.
For the future.
Yes.
And so we have to.
Yes.
We don't really have a choice.
Yes.
We have to.
We have to. It's imperative.
It is. So we
It's
have the
imperative.
primary now. Like I
Okay.
said, you can go. If you didn't mail in, there are places you can go. And I should have wrote down the link. You can go and make sure that you vote.
Right.
And then we'll be voting again in November. And my name will
be on the ballot.
Yes. And this will be the last name, last race on the ballot. Don't forget. Matter of fact, start from the bottom and go up. Okay, start from the bottom, like Drake said. Started from the bottom.
Right.
Now we here.
Yeah.
Start from the bottom.
I love it. I love it. You see that new millennium? I'm telling you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, First Lady. I appreciate
Candidate
it.
Belinda T. Harris.
That's right. Bold, tough, and honest.
Bold, tough, and honest.
Believe the hype,
Come
because
on.
I'm bringing the heat.
Woo!
All BTH.
Bring the heat. We love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Smooches.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone out there for viewing. Make sure that you share, and go and like her page. Go ahead and Facebook friend her, and make sure that you know who she is as the candidate. Okay, over here in North Las Vegas. Okay, Justice Court, Department 3. Thank you so very much for tuning in.
Thank
Until
you.
next time. Deuces. I'm Pastor Carol.